on that heated exchange we showed you on Friday between Senators Jay Rockefeller and Ron Johnson. Senator Rockefeller is standing by his comments where he said part of the opposition to the president's agenda is because of race. The West Virginia senator told Politico, quote, "People oppose things for a variety of reasons. It's a part of life, and it's a part of American life and world life, and it's just a part of why they oppose absolutely everything that this president does." Politico says Rockefeller's impending retirement may play into his willingness to openly express the opinion, which has not been publicly backed by any other Democrat.
Gene Robinson, you wrote a column about this. It's in the Washington Post today, and
I love the title.
Yeah, Conversation Stoppers. We had a great talk about this on Friday, I think it was. A lot of conversation coming out of that. And I understand what you're saying about getting bombarded by emails. I just haven't heard in the mainstream of political discourse race being a reason why Affordable Care Act is opposed by Republicans. Do you really think that is plays a big role?
Well, I think it does. I think it plays a role. I think it plays a role in the opposition to the Affordable Care Act and virtually everything that President Obama tries to do. And I see it. I see it in emails. I see it in snail mail that I get. I see it out there, and it's not. And it is something that a lot of people believe, and it's not something that as Senator Rockefeller said, it's not something that you're supposed to talk about, really, because the conversation immediately gets shut down by, you called me a racist, or you played the race card, and then so that ends the conversation. He started the conversation. He's retiring, and he gets to say whatever he wants to say.
I guess well, that's true. It's a good thing about retiring. I guess so. It just depends on where you look. I brought it up on Friday, for instance. Despite my great admiration for the union movement, we got Tom Friedman coming up the next hour. I've said on the show for quite some time. There's a reason why you have union membership dropping down 10, 9, 8, 7% in some areas in the private sector, and you have income disparity going up more and more. Whereas after World War II, you had 33, 34, 35%. I could go to people that constantly have been, brought up Unite Blue. And I could find people in Unite Blue that have just said some terrible things about me over the past 2, 3, 4 years. But that doesn't mean there aren't great people in the union movement. That doesn't mean there aren't vets and great people in Unite Blue, that there aren't great people in these organizations. I guess it's just where do you go to select those? So it'd be like me in a conference saying, oh, everybody that's in the union movement writes nasty email. No, that's just Twitter. I mean, don't we at some point realize that there are some people that will, try to associate themselves with a bigger group and say hateful things that shouldn't be associated with the union movement or Unite Blue, or in your case, be associated with conservatives or opposition to Obamacare?
Well, I think that's a good point, Joe. I think it should be then incumbent on those in the mainstream of the left and the right then to say, look, this is what we stand for, and we reject, we reject racism. We reject the sort of invidious personal attacks that you're talking about, and we stand on policy grounds. And if the reason you're supporting this position or you want to join with us is because you don't like the president's color, or you want to say nasty things about personalities on the right or whatever, then we don't want you. We reject that, and we should make that clear.
I think that's a fantastic point. Make it about policy. Got a problem with health care? Talk about health care. You've got a problem with somebody on the right? Talk about policies. And speaking of policies, and by the way, speaking of race conversation, we got to talk about Mark Cuban. We didn't talk about him on Friday.
That was an incredible conversation.
That's an extraordinary conversation. We need to talk about that.